Companies which pledged their investment commitments in 2019 are expected to create almost 33,000 jobs. That's according to the Economic Development Board. And now that number is also the highest in at least 14 years, and it's nearly twice its forecast of 16,000 to 18,000 jobs, and almost double the low that we saw of 16,800 back in 2015. Now, this comes in spite of the uncertain global economic climate. Almost half of the jobs that will be created will involve the use of digital technologies. Such roles include data engineers, business analysts, as well as product managers, and authorities say that workers shouldn't be intimidated by these digital jobs.
It is creating jobs that is in this big umbrella of digital. The digital jobs, not everyone is in coding, right? And in fact, not everyone necessarily even has to have very deep data analytical skills. Within that, for instance, you have now user design, experience design, and they could well come from very classically trained designers.
$15.2 billion worth of investments were secured last year. Now, bear in mind, that's the largest amount that we've seen since 2012's peak of $16 billion. Now, the leap was driven by a bumper crop of investments in the chemicals and electronics industries, including a $1 billion investment from US chip maker Micron Technology, which will strengthen Singapore's semiconductor ecosystem. Looking ahead, EDB says that it will continue to focus on 3 key areas for 2020: strengthening Singapore's position as a bridge to ASEAN, digital development, and supporting innovation. Well, for more, we're joined now by Tan Kong Hwee. He's Assistant Managing Director of the Economic Development Board.
Well, Kong Hwee, thank you very much for coming in and joining us. So, as Don mentioned there, given the uncertain global economic climate, we're still seeing, investments. Help us understand why is that the case, though?
The EDB, we have had a very strong year in 2019. We were able to secure investments from a very diverse range of industries. Now, we were able to do this because of 2 things. Firstly, it's really because of the strong fundamentals that we have in Singapore. Companies make these investments, so we talked about chemicals and electronics. So despite the year looking really uncertain last year, these companies are making multi-billion-dollar investments into Singapore, right? They are manufacturing plants, they have advanced technologies, and they don't make these decisions lightly. They sign on 30-year leases, and they expect Singapore to deliver on the promise. So they have this confidence that Singapore would be able to deliver on our promises. Secondly, it's really also the capabilities that they're able to find in Singapore. I mentioned that manufacturing plants having been incorporated with some of these advanced technologies, you require talent that understand these technologies to make the plants work. There are also headquarters who are expanding their capacities as well as capabilities in digital as well as in innovation. And again, without the sophisticated capabilities that we've built in Singapore, we would not have been able to capture these investments.
So what kind of opportunities then are available in those sectors that will materialize into actual jobs?
Yeah, so you mentioned that we have managed to secure 33,000 jobs. So out of these 33,000 jobs, about half of these are going to be in the area of digital. Right, and this is really riding on the growth of tech companies who are trying to capture the opportunities in Asia. So there was mention of some of these business analysts, software engineers, and in fact, we see that there will be a great need for product managers, people who understand UX, UI, and so on. So that would be one big category of jobs that Singaporeans should look forward to capturing. Now, another quarter of the jobs that we've managed to secure are really in the area of production. So again, the manufacturing plants that are being built now require more automation engineers. They're going to require more process technicians, equipment technicians. And in fact, we're seeing that these jobs now require people to understand data coming out from the equipment. And the rest of the jobs that we've created can be roughly categorized into innovation as well as opportunities, job opportunities answering to the growing needs in Asia as well.
Okay, but one cannot be complacent. So what are some of the challenges you see you're facing, you're going to be facing?
Yeah. So as we enter 2020, we see that the global outlook remains somewhat subdued. Manufacturing, in fact, I think we're kind of cautiously optimistic that maybe in the second half we'll see some recovery. Global tensions observed in 2019, I don't think we're completely out of the woods yet. So it looks rather uncertain. And this is also why the EDB is making an adjustment to the way that we forecast our achievements going forward, from one that is annual to one where we look at the medium to long term.
And just one final question for you. What kind of efforts can we expect to see on the front of, sort of strengthening Singapore's position for foreign companies to, tap into Asia?
Yeah. There are three big groups of opportunities going forward. We see that ASEAN will continue to be really important for us, right? There is 650 million consumers, rising middle class. So we are going to have to continue to work at strengthening our linkages to ASEAN so that whether it's foreign companies, Asian companies or Singapore companies can continue to tap on those opportunities. Digital continues to be really important for us. The demand for digital capabilities, digital talent continues to be really strong. So we want to double down on our efforts there. Last but not least, we want to push Singapore towards an innovation-led economy. So we're going to double down on helping companies create new ventures, explore innovation.
All right. Thank you very much, Kong Hwee, for coming in to share that with us. We've been speaking there to Tan Kong Hwee,
My pleasure.
Assistant Managing Director of the Economic Development Board.